Have you ever had nights when you couldn't sleep for no clear reason, as if something unseen was stirring in the air? Or days when your head ached, your heart raced, and the sky itself felt heavier than usual? For centuries, people have wondered if cosmic forces could whisper through our planet if solar storms, magnetic waves, and invisible pulses from deep space might quietly touch our lives. Tonight, those questions return. Because within just a few hours, 3 extraordinary events struck our world in perfect sequence. A powerful G3 geomagnetic storm hit Earth's magnetic shield. The sun unleashed a massive filament of plasma, and before the energy faded, 2 strong earthquakes shook Southeast Asia. Coincidence or connection? Scientists call it data. But others are starting to call it something else. The first geophysical black swan event, a rare alignment between the sun, the Earth, and the unknown forces that bind them together. Stay with me, because what you're about to see may change the way you think about space weather, human biology, and the fragile pulse of the planet we live on. This is the cosmic eruption no one was ready for. To understand what just happened, we need to step back and look at the timeline, not just a list of events, but a precise map moment by moment where cosmic forces and Earth's own crust seem to echo each other. First came the geomagnetic pulse. The HB60 index surged, the Kp bar lit up with G3 intensity, and the BZ component plunged deep into the negative. That's when the Earth's shield was wide open, absorbing energy pouring in from the sun. Barely 2 hours later, at 1400 UTC, the Philippines shook with a magnitude 6.9 earthquake. And then, at 1649 UTC, Bali was rattled by another quake. Magnitude 6. 2 seismic shocks, arriving almost as if on the heels of the magnetic storm. Coincidence, perhaps. But when you see these timestamps aligned side by side, the pattern is hard to ignore. And the deeper question is this: if cosmic energy can spike our magnetic field at the very moment faults are under stress, what else might unfold in the weeks ahead? Let's dissect the storm itself, because the details reveal why this wasn't just another geomagnetic hiccup. On the HB60 index, the curve shot upward like a heartbeat under shock, signaling rapid, hour by hour swings across the planet's magnetic field. The Kp index averaged over 3 hours, locked in at a solid G3, strong, disruptive, and rare. But the real clue was hidden in the BZ component. It plunged deep into the negative and stayed there. A southward pointing field means the Earth's shield isn't deflecting, it's absorbing. That is when solar energy floods directly in. Add to that the solar wind racing past 700 kilometers per second, faster than a typical CME stream, and you have the perfect recipe: a magnetic shield wide open, a negative BZ holding it there, and a surge of high velocity plasma pouring through. That's why this storm mattered. Not just numbers on a chart. But a door briefly opened between the sun and Earth, letting energy rush in. Just before the ground itself began to move. Now comes the part that makes people lean forward the earthquakes. The timeline shows a clear sequence: geomagnetic storm first, seismic ruptures following hours later. But we must tread carefully here. Scientists call this temporal alignment events occurring close together in time. It doesn't automatically mean one caused the other, but it does mean they shared the same window when Earth's systems were already stressed, and cosmic energy poured in at its peak. Think of it like striking a drum that's already vibrating. The hit doesn't create the tension, but it can trigger the release. That's the analogy many researchers use when discussing how geomagnetic fluctuations might nudge a fault line that's ready to go. So was it coincidence maybe? Was it synergy? Possibly. That is the mystery, and that's why we keep watching the skies as well as the ground. If this timeline breakdown helps you see the bigger picture, Make sure you're subscribed because the next window of activity may be only days away, and you'll want to be alerted the moment it begins. While Earth was still reeling from the storm, the Sun added fuel to the fire. From its southwestern limb, a massive plasma filament tore free and blasted into space, an eruption so sudden it lit up the coronagraph imagery in a single flash. At the same time, a cluster of sunspots is rotating into direct view of Earth. These aren't quiet blemishes, they're massive magnetic scars, storing energy like coiled springs, and in the next 24 to 72 hours, they'll be aimed straight at us. If even one of them unleashes an X-class flare while Earth is in the line of fire, we could see the kind of geomagnetic response that turns night skies electric green. An omen written in auroras, but the storm didn't happen in isolation. Two cosmic travelers may have tilted the odds: the Comet C 2025 R2 Swan and the interstellar visitor 3I Atlas. Both are moving close to the ecliptic plane, the very highway where the solar wind flows and the planets revolve. In late September, Swan erupted in an outburst, ejecting massive streams of dust and plasma into interplanetary space. That material didn't vanish, it was carried along the spiral arms of the solar wind, loading the system with charged particles. At the same time, 3I Atlas approached Mars, also hugging the ecliptic plane. Two anomalous bodies, appearing during solar maximum, each stirring the magnetic seas in their own way. Could their presence explain why this geomagnetic storm was stronger than forecasts predicted? That's the question haunting researchers now. When dust, plasma, and interstellar debris flood the Sun-Earth system, even small triggers can ripple into something much bigger. There's another layer to this storm, something written not in comets or sunspots, but in the tilt of the Earth itself. Scientists call it the Russell-McPherron effect. Around the equinoxes, Earth's magnetic axis lines up in such a way that it becomes easier for southward solar fields to couple with our magnetosphere. In simple terms, after the equinox, Earth is more vulnerable. A solar storm of the same strength in July might graze our shield, but in October, it can punch straight through. That's why October has historically been one of the most storm-active months of any solar cycle. It's not superstition, it's geometry. And geometry never sleeps. Now let's look ahead. The storm we just witnessed may not be the last. Based on current solar wind data and active sunspot regions, the next 7 days hold a volatile window between October 2nd and October 4th, as a major sunspot cluster rotates fully into Earth view. The risk of M or even X-class flares rises sharply. If BZ once again turns southward during one of those eruptions, we could see another G2 or G3 storm around October 6th. Residual plasma streams from the Swan outburst may also sweep past Earth. Adding an extra variable to the equation, dust, debris, and charged particles could amplify the geomagnetic response. So here's the ETA watch for geomagnetic turbulence from October 2nd through October 6th. It may pass quietly, or it may light up the skies again. When storms like this unfold, it's not just about cosmic fireworks, it's about how we prepare here on the ground. For observers and photographers, the rule is simple: watch the BZ. If it dives southward and stays negative for more than 2 hours, the aurora curtain may stretch into mid-latitudes, turning the night sky into a canvas of green fire. For infrastructure, aviation, navigation, even pipelines, geomagnetic turbulence means one thing: redundancy, backups, alternative GPS solutions, and contingency plans matter most during G2 and G3 events. And for personal health, the story is more subtle but no less fascinating. Geomagnetic storms are not harmful blasts of radiation. They don't burn your skin or poison your cells. Instead, they whisper to your body in quieter ways. Research shows that shifts in geomagnetic activity can influence circadian rhythms, alter sleep quality, and subtly affect neurotransmitters like serotonin and melatonin. Some people feel restless during storms. Others experience unusual bursts of creativity or heightened sensitivity. Think of it as earth and body vibrating in harmony. The same currents that ripple through tectonic plates may also ripple lightly through the circuits of your nervous system, not to harm, but to remind you that you are part of this vast electromagnetic symphony. So if you find yourself restless, sleepless, or strangely inspired during nights of auroras, don't be alarmed. See it as an invitation to slow down, to listen inward, and to realize that the cosmos isn't only above your head, it is flowing through you. Whenever we line up solar storms and earthquakes on the same chart, one question always comes up: does one cause the other? The scientific answer is not proven. What we observe is correlation in time events overlapping within the same window, but correlation is not causation. Another debate is why forecasts often miss the mark. A G3 storm wasn't predicted this time. The reason models average the data, smoothing out the very spikes that matter. Instruments like HB60 capture the sharp swings, but most public forecasts rely on KP's 3-hour average. And finally, the role of comets like Swan. Some researchers dismiss the idea of dust and plasma loading the system. Others see it as a missing variable. The truth is, the data isn't in yet. We're watching an unfolding experiment written across the solar system. Beyond solar storms and comets, there's another layer to this story. Planetary resonances. Right now, the moon is activating alignments between Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune. These aren't just astrological curiosities, they're measurable, gravitational, and magnetic configurations. Layering pressure across the solar system, history shows that during strong planetary alignments, solar activity and seismic events on Earth often spike. Cause or coincidence, we don't know yet. But the timing is uncanny. And as October unfolds, these alignments grow sharper, culminating in early January, with a near-perfect line stretching from Mercury all the way to Jupiter. A rare moment when the orchestra of planets strikes a single note. The story doesn't end here. It loops forward into the future. In the short term, the next new moon and a major sunspot cluster rotating fully into Earth view will define the coming 48 to 72 hours. This is our immediate watch window, where fresh eruptions could spark new geomagnetic storms. In the long term, early January 2026 brings a striking planetary geometry, several worlds lining up across the solar system in near-perfect alignment. We present this as an astronomical phenomenon, not a prophecy. And here's the promise. We will track these events strictly by the numbers. No hype. No exaggeration, only data, updated as it unfolds. If this timeline format, mapping, lead and lag, helped you see the bigger picture more clearly, then hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Drop the keyword timeline in the comments if you'd like me to update every time the BZ plunges below -10 nanotesla for more than 2 hours. That way, you won't just be watching the story, you'll be living inside the updates as they unfold. Science is a story of data and of humility. We see patterns overlap, but we will only name them when the evidence is strong enough. Until then, our duty is simple: observe, learn, and never forget compassion for the communities shaken by these events. The cosmos is vast, and we are small but together. With open eyes and open hearts, we can face whatever unfolds